Hi, I'm Joy, and in this video, we'll take a look at the procedures Chick-Fil-A has in place for preventing harm to guests. Most injuries take place as a result of unsafe acts or unsafe conditions. That's why it's so important for you to not only be aware of how to spot a safety risk, but also how to avoid creating such risks. We'll also take a look at how essential it is to take prompt action when unsafe conditions materialize, either by resolving the problem or reporting it to restaurant leadership. One of the most common concerns around guest safety is right beneath your feet. The floors in the restaurant need to be kept clean and dry at all times. This means sweeping the floors regularly, picking up any objects on the floor and under tables and chairs such as condiment packages, napkins, or food. Never step over an object and leave it on the floor. The same goes for spills or leaks. Clean them promptly and look for the source of any leak so it can be fixed or handled. Notify restaurant leadership if you need to as well. If an area is being mopped, be sure to position wet floor signs in the area you're mopping. This lets everyone know the area is not yet dry so they can prevent slipping and falling. And be sure to leave those wet floor signs out until the floor is completely dry. Better to walk around a sign than turn an ankle or take a spill. Floors will dry more quickly if you remove excess moisture from the floor with a squeegee or a mop that's been wrung out completely. You can refer to the training materials on floors to make sure that you are cleaning the floors according to procedure. Be sure you're using the mop and bucket designated for the area you're cleaning. If not, you might accidentally transfer oil from the back of house to the front of house. And remember, body fluids clean differently than mere spills because they can be a much greater health hazard. Be sure to review how to deal with these in your training materials. Now, let's find out how to make sure the restaurant's floor mats are safe for use. First, you want to be sure ADA-compliant floor mats are in place at the entrances at all times. Floor mats help remove debris and moisture from guest shoes, which means less risk of anyone falling and slipping. There's one mat at each entrance. However, on rainy days, you'll want to place 2 floor mats at each entrance. One gets most of the water, and the other helps dry the guest shoes. Inspect the mats each day to ensure they're clean and in good condition. The edges of the mats should be beveled to prevent tripping. If you see significant wear and tear, such as curled edges, worn spots, or holes, the mats need to be replaced. Remove the mats before cleaning the floor. One area that can be dangerous to guests is the restroom. Inspect it often for hazardous conditions, such as loose toilet seats, any damage to the baby changing station, or fixtures like the paper or soap dispensers. Check that the doors are closing correctly. Throughout the day, check restrooms to make sure the floors are dry and free of debris. Dry any areas that are wet. Should you notice leaks or other problems, report them to restaurant leadership promptly. We've all been kids before, so we know the playground is an area that requires vigilance where safety is concerned. Playgrounds require special attention, and the training materials have an entire section devoted to playgrounds. Follow the procedures in place to ensure that playground equipment and floors are clean and in good condition. Also, be sure the playground safety signs are legible and in good condition. If you see unsafe play taking place on the playground, notify parents and make sure they understand we care about their children's safety. The playground isn't the only outdoor area that should be on your safety radar. The parking lot, sidewalks, and landscaped areas on restaurant property are your responsibility when it comes to safety issues. Keep an eye out for potholes, cracked asphalt, damaged concrete, or parking stops. Also, be on the lookout for more menacing items, like metal protruding from the concrete or asphalt, or sprinklers that are aimed at the walkways. You also want to look for fluid spills from cars, and when the weather is bad, for snow or ice. Basically, you're looking for any obstruction that could cause guests to slip or trip. You'll also want to check the overhangs and entrances for any damage or leaks. Or if it's been cold, look for ice that may have built up. Make sure all light bulbs are working and the light levels are appropriate. It's best to check them when it's dark, and if they're burned out or broken, replace them promptly. If you need a refresher on how to make sure the restaurant exterior is in great shape, you can refer to your training materials. Now, let's take a look at how to prevent another unsafe situation for guests: potential burns from hot liquids. As food service professionals, we're required to protect guests by minimizing risk while serving hot liquids, such as soup and coffee. Let's take a look at how to best do this, starting with our delicious coffee. One of the most important things to be mindful of when serving coffee is to avoid overfilling the cup. If the guest orders their coffee black, or if the condiments have already been added, fill it 1/4 inch below the rim. And if they want to add their own sugar or creamer, fill it 1/2 inch below the rim. Make sure you are using a hot beverage lid and use 2 hands to ensure the lid is secure. Let's take a look at how to minimize risk when serving soup. First, make sure the food warmer is set to the proper temperature and that you always serve the soup from the food warmer, not the pouch. The product temperature should never be higher than 160 degrees Fahrenheit when you serve it up. If it is greater than 160 degrees, the bowl can start to soften, creating a greater risk of burns. Don't overfill the soup bowl and secure the lid with 2 hands. You should also wipe the side of the bowl if there's any soup residue on it to help prevent it from slipping or falling when handled. And it may seem obvious, but when serving coffee or soup to guests, always remind them that the product is hot and could burn them.
Be careful, sir. It's hot.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Sometimes you'll have the opportunity to provide second-mile service by carrying trays to a guest table. When you do, pay careful attention to your surroundings so you don't bump or trip into someone. If you have a hot liquid, carry it by hand and not on the tray, and place it in the hand of an adult. Always place hot liquids away from the reach of small children.
I'm gonna sit this hot soup right over here so she doesn't have a spill.
Oh, thank you. She has been known to explore. So.
Well, that's good.
So now let's talk about what to do if the unfortunate happens. If a guest is injured, what do you do? First, you'll need to react promptly while remaining calm.
Okay, let's get you up. Sit right here.
Can I get some ice?
Oh, of course.
You'll want to notify restaurant leadership immediately.
Sir, I'm so sorry to see you on the ground there. Are you okay?
It hurts.
Where is most of the pain happening right now?
On my wrist, I fell right on it.
Okay, can I get you some ice instead?
Yes, please.
In 1 moment, I'll be right back for you.
Appreciate that, thank you.
It's important that you do not admit fault or liability for the incident under any circumstances. Never give a written statement to a guest. A written or verbal statement can complicate the issue of legal liability. Ask if the guest needs medical attention, but do not say that the restaurant will pay for the medical expenses.
Sir, would you like me to contact medical assistance for you?
No, I'll be fine.
Okay.
We've covered a lot in this video: reducing risk inside and outside the restaurant, dealing with hot liquids, and addressing guest injuries appropriately. Thanks for your attention and for making sure all of our guests are safe whenever they come visit Chick-fil-A.